الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون وقال سبحانه وتعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا. Alhamdulillah, we begin with a reminder of having the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained it in the Quran, as the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam gave it as the nasiha, as the advice to the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, as we find from the advice of the Salaf al-Salihin, and as we know it is from the arkan of the khutbah to remind towards taqwa, as Muwaffaquddin ibn Qudama he mentioned in Al-Mughni. Regarding taqwa, in the last khutbah I talked about some of the aqsam, some of the different aspects of taqwa, and I'll touch upon that, but I want to talk about in this khutbah that which I didn't talk about in the last khutbah, which is the fawaid, the benefits and the thamarat and the fruits of taqwa as well. What is it to have taqwa? As I mentioned, taqwa is to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as ordained in the Quran and the Sunnah, and to leave off that which Allah has forbidden as Allah has forbidden it in the Quran and the Sunnah, and to do so wanting that reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fearing the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm summarizing from the last khutbah. To do what? Obey what Allah has ordained. Stay away from which Allah has forbidden. Do it for the sake of Allah, wanting that reward from Allah and being afraid of the punishment of Allah. What is the opposite of that? And where is the pitfalls to watch for there? One is that you obey Allah, but you don't do it in the way that Allah has ordained. Some people, I went to a certain country, I won't mention the name, and they have these traveling darwish. They turn around and run around and go in circles. And at the time for salah will come, they will not make salah. And they will be just going around. And they'll get headaches, I assume. And they do it for hours. And they think this is an ibadah. But this is not an ibadah. This is a bid'ah. This is an innovation. Why? Because this is not what Allah ordained upon us. Where in the Quran did Allah ordain upon us that you go and you put one palm to the sky and one to the earth and you twirl and dance and throw your skirt up and down? Or I don't know why guys are wearing skirts to begin with. But this is not something Allah has ordained. What did Allah ordain? Aqimus salah. Establish the salah. Make ruku', sujood. Read the Quran. Stand in qiyam. When did the Prophet ﷺ show us that you dance and jump up and down and do backflips and break dance and call that ibadah? No. The Prophet ﷺ, he showed us how to make the salah. How many rak'at al-fajr, dhuhr, asr, maghrib, isha. What to recite in the salah, what to recite in ruku', what to recite in sujood. Every detail of the religion, how to make istinja, how to make istijmar, how to clean yourself after the call of nature is explained in the deen. Alhamdulillah. We don't need to innovate anything in the religion. All is there. The Prophet ﷺ told us, I'm leaving you upon a path, upon a religion, as its night is like its day. What does that mean? You know, the day is clear. But you go out at night, it's dark. But the religion is so clean, clear, established, evident. Its night is like the day. And the Prophet ﷺ told us there is nothing that has reward except that I've told you about it. And there is nothing you need to stay away from except that I warned you about it. So today, even new things, if we come up with, I want to read Quran on my cell phone. Yes, we look at qiyas, we look at the mushaf, we look at the recitation, we can give you hukm on it. Somebody says now is heroin haram? Yes. Why is it haram? Because it intoxicates, and that which intoxicates the Prophet ﷺ forbid. So religion is clear. So when somebody brings a bid'ah, an innovation, then this is not from taqwa. Because you're not worshipping Allah as Allah has ordained it. And we stay away from that which Allah has made haram. And nobody can make the haram halal. Today people are like, yes, this used to be haram, but not anymore. Why? Oh, we're in the West. Oh, okay. Allah didn't know, na'udhu billah, that we're going to be in the West. It's the 21st century. Allah didn't know there'll be a 21st century. Na'udhu billah. We seek refuge with Allah from such statements. Allah's religion is applicable from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, meaning that which is revealed in the Quran and the Sunnah of Al-Mustafa ﷺ, till the Day of Judgment. We're making Jum'ah Salah. Rasulullah made Jum'ah. Standing on a member, Rasulullah stood on a member. Yes, we may use a microphone, but this is not a ibadah. This is just to get the voice to those that are far. The Prophet ﷺ taught us how to make ruku' sujood. We make ruku' sujood. Rasul ﷺ told us to fast on Monday and Thursday. And he gave us many reasons. Why? Yes, we fast Monday and Thursday. It doesn't mean you take fasting Monday and Thursday and turn it into a Mawlid al-Nabi once a year celebration. No, that's not what the Prophet ﷺ told us. That's not religion. That's not taqwa. So we do that which Allah has ordained in accordance to the Quran and Sunnah. And we leave that which Allah has forbid in accordance to Quran and Sunnah. And we do it for the sake of Allah, expecting the reward from Allah. Some people today, they say, oh, you know, I don't worship Allah to get Jannah. May Allah not give them Jannah. If you don't want it, khalas. Allah wants you to get the Jannah. Allah encourages you. He calls you to Darus Salam in the Quran, to Al-Jannah. He gives you the virtues of Jannah. So you should want the Jannah. This is the mercy of Allah. Some people, they think they're above a level. I'm not scared of the hell. May Allah put you in it then. Allah wants you to be afraid of that. This is the punishment of Allah. You should be afraid of it. Why would Allah warn us against it in the Quran? Why would the Prophet warn us against it in the Sunnah if you weren't meant to be afraid of it? There is no, like, I'm above the level of the Prophet. Na'udhu billah. Some people, they do bid'ah. And you tell them, Rasulullah showed us this way. He says, no, no, my Shaykh said this. Is your Shaykh better than Rasulullah? In my country, is your country better than Rasulullah? My culture, is your culture better? La. You will not taste the sweetness of Iman until Allah and His Rasul become more beloved to you than siwa, than anything else. From taqwa is to understand a beautiful statement. The ayah that I recited in the beginning. What is the haqqa tuqatihi? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders the people of Iman, have taqwa. And then He tells us, as is the right of Allah. What is the haqq of Allah? We don't make our own tafsir. Nowadays, mashallah, every gynecologist has become a mufassir. Go do your profession. If you haven't studied, don't go make tafsir of Quran. Every guy sitting in a qahwa shop, drinking his latte, thinks he's a mufassir. Mention the ayah, he gives his own understanding. Who told you to make tafsir of the Quran? No, we take the Quran's tafsir from the Quran itself, from the Sunnah, from the Sahaba who were there, who were taught by the Prophet ﷺ. Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu, he talks about haqqa tuqatihi. He makes tafsir of it. And he says the haqq of Allah and taqwa is that you control your lisan, your tongue. That you don't say that which displeases Allah. You say that which pleases Allah. You're thankful to Allah. This is the haqq. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, the great Sahabi, he explained this ayah and taqwa, and he said about it, he said that is that Allah is obeyed and He is not disobeyed, and He is remembered and He is not forgotten. And think about this, that when Allah ordains something upon us, you need to establish salah, you need to fast in Ramadan, you need to give zakat, you need to go for hajj, you need to give to the poor, you need to establish the deen, you need to give da'wah, you need to call towards the haqq and forbid from the batil. He orders it, we obey Him to the best of our ability. If you can go out and speak to people about Islam, do it. If you are unable to, then support those that are. We don't tell our sisters, go out and go debate with guys out in the street. No, that's not their place. But they support their husbands, they support their du'at, they support their fathers and brothers and children to go out and give da'wah. And if nothing else, they promote the da'wah. They, instead of making hijab tutorials where you're taking off your hijab, na'udhu billah, on TikTok and things, and showing that which Allah has made haram for you to show under the guise of giving da'wah. No. Instead, take the videos of the ulama and the du'at, make clips, forward them, pass them, so you can be a means of the da'wah without violating the rules of Sharia. This was the way of Khadija radiyallahu anha. This is the way of Fatima radiyallahu anha. This is the way of Aisha radiyallahu anha. You didn't see Khadija radiyallahu anha in the streets arguing with Abu Jahl, or Abu Lahab, or Abu Sufyan, who wasn't Muslim in Mecca. No. Instead, what was her da'wah? Supporting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we don't disobey Allah. When Allah made something haram, khalas, it's haram. There is no way around it. Allah made gold and silk haram for men. Khalas, it's haram. You don't want to be like, well, I like it. You may like poison, meth, it's not good for you. Don't do it. Doesn't matter if you like it or not. Allah made tabarruj, going out without the hijab and things, haram for women. Khalas, it's haram. It's a line, you draw it, that's it. You don't go, well, what if? Allah made haram for us to participate in festivals of shirk. Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, when the Sahaba were going to Faras, he wrote with them. He said, Istanabu, he stay away from the places of the kuffar during their ayyad, during their festivals. Khalas, that's it. No, line drawn. No, well, politically, well, at work, well, my boss is going, or my neighbor, for da'wah, I'm going to dress up like Santa Claus. You're not giving da'wah. I mean, you're giving da'wah, not to Islam. No, a line is a line. My respected brothers and sisters in Islam, I collected more than 50 of the benefits of taqwa. I don't have time to go over all of them now, but I'll mention just a few. Allah subhanahu, all from the Quran and Sahih Ahadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about in Surah Al-Baqarah about the Quran, Hudan lil Muttaqeen. It is a book that is a guidance for who? The people of taqwa. When you bring taqwa into your life, when you bring this beautiful concept into your life, the first benefit is you will understand the Quran. It will be a guidance for you. It's not Hudan lil Munafiqeen. A munafiq, a hypocrite, will pick up the Quran and not benefit from it. A mushrik at times will pick up the Quran and not benefit from it. Many Orientalists who are mushrikeen, who are kuffar, they wrote books about the Quran, they studied the Quran, but they didn't benefit from it. May Allah protect us, me and you, and keep us on the guidance. So the first benefit of taqwa, knowledge, the Quran, Islam. Secondly, فقال سبحانه وتعالى العاقبة للمتقين What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? The end, the victory in the end is for the believers. Ibn al-Qayyim explains this. I'm summarizing. He says, one aspect of al-aqibatul muttaqeen is in dunya, Allah will make them in the end victorious. You look at the prophets like Yusuf alayhi salam. He went through a struggle. There was a time when you could look at Yusuf alayhi salam and say, what happened? You lost. Where is Allah? Where is the help of Allah? Your brothers took you and mistreated you and threw you in a well, and now you are enslaved. You lost. But the reality is, in the end, he is the one that Allah made victorious because he stuck to it. He was from the people of taqwa. So through all that hardship, Allah only raised his ranks. You know, there were many anbiya sent to Bani Israel. Many. We don't know how many, but 70 were killed in a day in one of the narrations, so imagine how many they had. But many of them, we don't know their names today. They're not mentioned in the Quran, they're not mentioned in Hadith, so we don't know them. And Yusuf alayhi salam could have been one of them. But Allah raised his rank. So the hardship he went through today, we have Surah Yusuf. Today we name our children Yusuf. My son is Yusuf. Today we remember him. And we see how Allah honored him. That those brothers that mistreated him in the end were in obedience to him. That father and mother saw the pride in their eyes when they saw their son as the most powerful man, the greatest of the people alive at that time. And at that time, from a religious perspective, he was a Nabi. Yani Yaqub alayhi salam and his mother, and this is the Shams and Qamar and the Tafsir, and the brothers are making sujood. Not that we are not allowed in our ummah to make sujood to anybody, but this is allowed at that time to show his honor that Allah gave him, like the malaika made sujood to Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. And from a worldly perspective, Allah honored him, that he was in charge, even though he was not the king, but he was in charge and in power over the most powerful country that everybody was coming to ask for aid, and you ruled it by the Sharia, by what Allah ordained upon him. So Allah gave him the victory. You look at Musa alayhi salam at a time, you would have never imagined that he could overcome that which Fir'aun had, but Allah gave him the victory. The Prophet alayhi salatu salam, when he was going through the hardships in Mecca, in Taif, in Hijrah, in Badr, in Uhud, but then in the end, the Fath of Mecca and the people entering the religion in large numbers, this was the victory that Allah had promised him. And in the end also means in Al-Jannah. No matter what in dunya, a kafir may live an amazing life in dunya, may live a luxurious life, may live a comfortable life, may live a successful life, but in the end, they're failures. Because if you enter into the nar, you failed. And the mu'min may live a hard life in this dunya, a life of struggling, a life of tests, a life of sickness, a life of war and refugees and this and that. But in the end, when they enter Jannah, no doubt the believer is successful. فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say about that? The one who enters Jannah, he's got the greatest success. And this is the success given to the believers, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ مَفَازًا. Verily the people of taqwa, they are successful. Not Muslimin, not just you. No, the people of taqwa are the one given the promises from Allah of nusra and success and Jannah. And Allah will be your friend. Wallahu waliyul muttaqeen. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? That He is the friend, the supporter of the muttaqeen. If you're a person of taqwa, Allah is with you. And if Allah is with you, who can harm you? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ وَعُيُونٍ. Verily the people of taqwa will be in paradise with gardens and jannat, not just jannah, but many paradises, each one having the beautiful everlasting life and springs and the rewards of Allah. And if you get Jannah, what else do you need? If you get Allah to be pleased with you, what else do you need? If Allah is your wali, what else do you need? If Allah is your protector, Allah is your friend, Allah is giving you nusra, what else do you need? Today, as an ummah, we don't lack resources. We have numbers, we have militaries, we have governments, we have nuclear weapons, we have resources. Allah has blessed our nations, the Muslim nations, with oil, with gas, with natural gas, and this resource, and platinum. And the Muslim countries have some of the most essential resources in the world. And I don't just mean the Middle East. You go to Africa, you go to Central Asia, you go to Southeast Asia, the Muslim countries that Allah has blessed us. But what are we lacking? We're lacking that taqwa. And that's why our countries are corrupt. Our countries are backwards. Our countries aren't developing. Why? Not because Allah didn't give us, it's because we have left the kitab and sunnah. We have brought bid'ah into our religion. We have left taqwa and become ghafil, heedless of Allah. As one of the Western historians said, it's a beautiful, even though he's a kafir, but it's a beautiful statement. He said the rise of the West was because they left the religion. Christianity, when it was dominant in Europe, there were the Dark Ages. When they left it, it was called the Enlightenment, the Renaissance. And the fall of the Muslim world was when they left the religion. When the Muslims were on the Kitab and Sunnah, you saw the futuhat, the victories against Persia and Roman, and conquering good part of 3 continents within a few years. You saw the nusra of Allah. And when the dunya came into the hearts, when that ghafla came upon us, when in Spain, in Andalus, the Muslims went with Tariq ibn Ziyad, burning the boats behind them, with iman in their hearts and the sword in their hand, and they had victories. And when after generations of being there, when alcohol became their main drink, and their palaces became lavish, and their lifestyle became un-Islamic, then the victories were taken away. So when we go back to Allah, Allah will give us victories. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله إن الله غفور رحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم ارزقنا التقوى، اللهم ارزقنا التقوى، اللهم ارزقنا التقوى. اللهم نعوذ بك من عذاب القبر وما قرب إليها من قول أو أمل. اللهم نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول أو عمل. اللهم نسألك الجنة لنا ولوالدينا ولمن له حقا علينا. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. ظلمنا أنفسنا ظلما كثيرا ولا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت فاغفر لنا وارحمنا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. اللهم نعوذ بك من عذاب القبر وعذاب الجهنم. اللهم نعوذ بك من عذاب القبر وعذاب الجهنم. اللهم اغفر لنا واشفانا اشف مرضانا واغفر موتانا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. وأخي أقم